And we're back, Red Press. It was Brentford 0, Liverpool 2 as the mentality monsters returned and Liverpool left it late in the capital. So let's have a look at 3 talking points from Brentford 0, Liverpool 2. First off, I think you've got to start with Darwin Nunez, as Darwin Nunez got his big moment. We got 2 of them, to be precise. And I think a lot of us have thought that he's always had this in his locker. I mean, I've kind of given up hope of Nunez ever being that 20 league goal season prolific forward that we all thought we were maybe getting. That's not going to happen for him at Liverpool, I don't think. But he does have it in his locker to come up with some big moments in some big games. And today was a big game for Liverpool, make no mistake about it. I think sometimes we think of that like iconic brace he scored up at Newcastle last season, I think it was. I'm thinking, has he got some moments like that? Especially as you enter in the second half of the season, when everything just seems a little bit more important. And, with Nunez, I think in the last week, there was rumours that seemed to have a little bit of credibility to them, that there was bids coming from the Saudi Pro League to the tune of 70 million or so for the January transfer window. And a lot of people were saying, sell him, bite their hands off. We've got to get rid of him for that kind of money. I always thought that was ridiculous, you know what I mean? I don't think Nunez really has a long-term future at Liverpool beyond this summer. But he's got an important part to play between now and the end of the season, and he could wind up with a Premier League winner's medal in his back pocket. Today, we saw 2 sides to Nunez affair. He comes on, well, first off, he doesn't get picked in the starting 11. Luis Diaz gets chosen ahead of him, even though Nunez had certainly had some freshness because he was suspended for the Forest game because he picked up that stupid yellow card in the United game. So you think he'd be ready to go, but Slot didn't fancy him tonight. He's on the bench. So that is part of Nunez's makeup as well, even though Diogo Jota is out, that Nunez isn't an automatic first choice as a number 9. And, he comes on and you expect him to make some kind of impact. The immediate impact is a negative one. He kind of should have done better with a header. He had a chance pretty soon on, after he came on. Should have really done a little bit better with that. Not long after that, he had just a ridiculous shot from like 25 yards or whatever. He was on the half turn, and you can see him. You can see the brain process, the thought process. I'm watching it, I'm thinking, don't shoot, and then he shoots, flies over, and you can see the frustration in Nunez with his teammates around him, especially, I think it was Trent, who was about 10 yards behind him there, who was visibly frustrated and annoyed with that decision. Poor decision making kind of comes with Nunez, unfortunately, but you've got to give him credit there, because about 2 minutes later, he scored the first of his 2 goals. He's in the right place in the right time. Fair enough, it's a simple chance, it's a tap-in, but with, if Diaz is on the pitch, he's not going to be in that position. If Gakpo is a centre forward, he's probably not going to be in that position. So Nunez is a centre forward. He's in the position. He did his job, and it was a goal. And you've got to give him credit for that. And then the second goal, he had a little bit of composure there, scores the goal there. So as much as Nunez is often, derided by the fan base, and he really divides the fan base, really, and he comes up for a lot of criticism, which I think is actually fair. If you take the personal element out of it, I think a lot of the criticism is fair. But if you're going to dish that criticism out, you've also got to dish the praise out tonight, because he was the difference between the 2 teams. He was the difference between Liverpool getting 1 point and getting 3 points, and then putting the pressure back on Arsenal. So Darwin Nunez, hopefully he sleeps well tonight. He got his moments. Let's hope he's got a few more of them before the end of the season. The second talking point, I think you've got to maybe admire the squad depth in Liverpool and how Arne Slot was using as substitutes. There's impact. The key moments in the game at the end were all impacted by substitutes, really. So obviously Nunez comes on, scores the goal. He's a substitute. I think that was the 36th and 37th shot of the game for Liverpool there. So obviously Liverpool were heading in the right direction, but it wasn't quite working for them. They needed something else. Slot turns to the bench, gets players on there, and it makes a difference. Nunez makes the difference, but also Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, Federico Chiesa, Andy Robertson all played the part there. I mean, For both the goals there, Harvey Elliott has a big part in them. I think for the second goal, Harvey Elliott and Federico Chiesa have a really big part in the goal there. So the depth of the squad, I think, is to be admired there. As I say, how and when Arne Slot uses those players is to be admired there. When I saw the lineup there, I was surprised that Jayden Danns maybe wasn't in the squad. I thought maybe there was room in there, and there might have been room and to give him some minutes in there. But ultimately, Arne Slot made the right decisions at the right times, and Liverpool came away from a difficult game with 3 points. Brentford, really, really hard to play against. Really difficult to break down. Much in the same way, we played against Nottingham Forest. Brentford providing like very, very, little room for Liverpool to knock the ball around in the final third, at least. And then obviously always looking to play on the counter, like down Liverpool's right-hand side nominally. But they did it kind of successful. Could have possibly had some goals themselves. Didn't really have that cutting edge. Liverpool defending well at times as well. But Liverpool had that little bit extra, that little killing instinct, that little bit of extra quality, and that came down to the squad. That came down to what was on the bench. So that is kind of speaks volumes about, I think, Slot's man management as well, and it's kind of positive for the next couple of weeks where we have, a Champions League kind of set up there, and then we enter back into the League Cup, FA Cup as well there. So the squad is really going to have to play the part, and I think this in-game rotation that Slot does a lot of the time, and using the most of the number of substitutes he has, I think is the right way of looking at it. I would personally love to see some additions in January. I don't think it's, I'm not bothered about marquee players and not like that, but we certainly maybe just need to see some more bodies in midfield. I think at some point you're going to have to give Ryan Gravenberch a rest. At some point maybe there's some cover there at left side at centre back. Maybe there's a versatile player who can come in and do a job. I don't know what the market's like. It's not something I'm an expert in, but ideally I think if there are opportunities out there, it'd be really good if Liverpool could strengthen now with view to what could be achieved this season. But, at the moment, the squad is doing pretty well. Thirdly and finally, let's have a little, give some credit out to how Liverpool have improved defensively today. I think it was 1 in 7 clean sheets in the Premier League or something like that. And we've certainly looked a bit leaky, haven't we, over the past month or so, compared to what was happening at the start of the season when defensively we're really, really strong. I think what we're seeing today was Ibrahim Konate, looking pretty fit, looking pretty sharp. I think we look so much better playing against these teams who are, low block teams who are looking to exploit that space behind Trent. On the counter attack, I think we look so much more able to, play against these teams when we have Konate in the side, and he's, as I say, he's fit and sharp. Tonight he looked like that. He just looks, out of all the players, all the defenders we've got, he just looks the most able in being able to cover space, being able to move forward and snuff out opportunities before they happen, and just playing intelligently like that with with Trent on his side there. It just frees Trent up to take those kind of inside right positions or number 6 positions or whatever. And Konate is the best player in the squad we have of playing with Trent. I think we just look so much better, but also the work rate of the team as a whole, maybe the midfielders in particular, was exceptional today. I thought Szoboszlai was really good. Unlucky when he hit the bar. And it was actually looked like he was a bit of a goal threat at times. His work rate was excellent. The front three work rate was excellent. Whoever was on the pitch. Key to that, I think, got to give a little shout out to Mo Salah. I think some people are saying he wasn't very good tonight, or he didn't have a great game, and maybe he was a bit subdued at times, or maybe his final ball could have been a bit sharper. But I've got to give him credit for Nunez' second goal when he was the player that tracked back, won the ball back in the middle of the pitch and set Liverpool off on a counter-attack that Nunez scored from. And I think Nunez will quite rightly get the plaudits for that, or Elliott with the assist, or Chiesa who passed the ball to Elliott. But key for that whole move was Mo Salah, who set the move in motion. I thought was excellent there from a defensive point of view. So the whole team, I thought, performed a little bit better tonight, and much better tonight in terms of the work rate that you've got to put up against these sides. And I think that was fair enough as well in the second half against Nottingham Forest as well. So hopefully they can turn a little bit of a corner there. Up next, obviously we've got some European games in the next couple of midweeks, but league-wise, we've got Ipswich at home and then Bournemouth away, which I think is going to be a really tricky one. I think that could be a tough one there. I think we can get maximum points out of these next two games. It leaves us in a really, really strong position going into this kind of next phase of the season. I think all teams that are up there are going to start dropping points now and again. We looked at Newcastle today, we saw Chelsea over the past week, obviously Man City, Arsenal have dropped points recently as well. I think Liverpool are going to do that. I think it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster this season. I don't think we're going to be winning it at a canter or anything like that. I think there's going to be twists and turns, but at the moment Liverpool FC are in the driving seat in England and in Europe, so for now we should enjoy that. Up the Reds.